Happy Sunday, guys. I hope you enjoy my get up. I only ever wear this get up when I'm going to do something seriously dirty on the rancho. And get your mind out of the gutter now because we got bigger fish to fry here today. We've got one of our typical well leaks that we have here on the rancho, and I've been lucky the last year and a half I haven't had one. But we had one starting last week. Those of you that have been on the channels for years will know the first year when I fired up the well and I put got the new pump on it, I was springing leaks everywhere because, well, some of the old piping had degraded in the ground. I mean, the whole place is just underlain with irrigation pipe, all hooked to our pump over here and our pump reservoir. And I'm fighting a little bit of rain today. It's just kind of spitting a little bit here. This is our reservoir. This is the pump that I put on 4 years ago and put a new downlink there. Got the pressure, and basically we've got it turned off right now. You know you have a leaking well line somewhere. Well, what's going to happen is if you leave your well pump on it all the time, it should be holding pressure, right, at about 45 pounds per square inch. But if you notice that pump is kicking on intermittently when you're not using the watering, just kicking on by itself as opposed to on demand, then you know you probably, or you absolutely are losing pressure somewhere. So you might as well just leave the pump on, and eventually the leak will betray itself. You'll see water bubbling up under the ground. You find the center point of the deepest point of the pool and you dig down there a foot, 2 feet, 3 feet. Guaranteed you're going to find your leaky line down there. And well, there she is. I've moved over I've cut out enough of the soil there and lifted enough of the soil now that you can see our leak is pretty well centered up. So we'll go ahead and get the hacksaw and carefully cut up both sides there, and then we'll figure out a way to splice in a new repair piece. Okay, one of the things that I found works better than a hacksaw for cutting plastic and rubber piping is to use a tool like this. It's called an orbit tool, and it can cut up to 2-inch in diameter piping. And all you have to do is let me feel. I want to cut it exactly where that leak is. So I want to turn that a little bit low. I just want to turn that water on to expose that leak again to get it out in some force. Yeah, I can feel the split right there, so I'm going to take a cut on each side of that. And this thing really does a super duper job. It just cuts that really clean. And then I'm going to try to thread in. This might not be, I might have to run down to the store to get a different diameter. But I'm going to try to thread this in. If this will work. Now we'll have to come up with some plan B. So there's our first cut. And that's going to be a little too big of diameter, so we'll have to figure out something a little bigger to stick in there. But it's got a nice clean cut, and we're underway. Okay, now because I backed that thread in so much that way, I can now reverse it out and have it thread up the other side here. So it's an old plumber's trick. If you're going to use two clamped connections, and once again I apologize for having the hat on if you're unable to see, but now we have a pretty good connection there. I'm going to go ahead and tighten down the hose clamps, and we'll see what we get. I don't know about you guys, but I am sweating here. I'm going to go ahead, we're going to pressurize, get that pump pressure on. We've got the valve all the way open there. Now we'll observe what kind of job we did down here. see, so far so good. Looking like she's holding good. We used that 1 foot section of the black iron pipe there, which is pretty cheap, standard plumber pipe. So I'm very satisfied. I got those clamps down really well, and she seems to be holding pressure pretty well. Let's go over here to the check the pressure. Yeah, that's good. We're holding about 25 psi, going up to 30. We generally top out at about 38, 40 psi, somewhere in there. And this is our holding tank here, our 40-gallon holding tank. So, yeah, it looks like we have some success. But like I say, this is not my not my first rodeo for well leaks. Unfortunately, it seems like every time I'm going to do a well repair, irrigation line repair, and that's what this pipe is for, irrigation, it always seems like I'm in the rain. Well, good time to fill in the hole again. Looks like we're holding good. I'll wait a couple more minutes for it to come up to final pressure. Then I'm going to grab my shovel, put the tools away, and get cleaned up, showered up, and dried off. Oh, I should have a plate compactor, huh? This ain't no Class A construction site, let me tell you. Alright, gonna finish it up. Like that, guys, you can hardly tell where the job was done, and that's just the way I like it. We'll have to come back with some more fill dirt later, because this will depress slightly. I don't have a compactor there, and it's got to work in underneath of the pipe. So be back in a second with a concluding thought and a wrap up on the project. Total time, about 1.5 hours. So that's how you find a well pump line leak, just the way I showed you here today. And thanks for being on the Rancho, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and thumbs up are always appreciated. Thanks everyone.